I just want to ask a question. So, like the brother about to go in and explain to you about what different sins that he sees, right? And you understand your nationality already, right? So, what's your nationality? Huh?
You say Islam?
I said, what's your nationality? So you need this.
And I'm what that is.
So you don't know your nationality, right?
You confused me.
I just asked you what your nationality was.
I don't know.
You don't know. You know your nationality? So all the scriptures the brother brought out, that just went over your head, right? You was agreeing with him, you was going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But you ain't get it, did you?
I did, but it's
So what is it? What's your nationality? Let's go back. Let's go. We're gonna go real slow because I want to make sure you get it. I don't want you to walk away and not know, because when we done and I ask you that question, I said, "What's your nationality?" You should be able to roll it off. Like until today, before you walked up and you was walking down the street, you and your brother, right? Y'all brothers, right? And before you got to this point and somebody started talking to you, what if I'd have asked you your nationality? What would you have told me?
I don't know.
Oh, you'd have said, "I don't know." Oh, okay, all right. I can take that. Nah, give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. Because what we got to understand is the brother told you that this book is our history book. This book is our photo album. This is our where everything from 1611 backwards in time. This is the history that's missing. So like a lot of our people, we know about you. You heard of Martin Luther King, correct?
Right.
You heard about maybe Marcus Garvey. You heard of him? You heard of Malcolm X before? But what about all before those brothers? What about Isaiah? What about Jeremiah?
I heard of him.
You heard of it, but you know more about Malcolm X than you do Jeremiah, right? You know more about Martin Luther King than you do Isaiah, right? Because you've been disconnected from this book. This book is your book. This is your history. This is everything. This is your forefathers before we came over here in the slave ships. Now, read this.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Who did Moses write this book of Deuteronomy to?
Israel.
Israel, right? So we're going to stay in this same book. And it's talking to one specific people, right? Did it say, these be the words that Moses spake unto Israel, China, No? It said one thing, right? Come on. Now, let's go straight to the point. I want to speed it up because he heard a lot of curses already. Let's go to 30 first. Let's get 30. I want you to hear this. And before I ask this, before we read this, I want to ask a question. And this goes to both of y'all brothers. What do you know about the transatlantic slave trade, like historically? I heard the brother ask if they taught you in school, and the brother said no, right? They don't teach the slave trade in school. But what do you know about it? What have you learned over the years about it? You've heard of the transatlantic slave trade, correct? Or you've heard that our people went into slavery before, correct? So what do you know about those times? Like what types of things happened to our people? How y'all sisters doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Y'all get a flyer?
Yep, I got one.
All right. We out here teaching our people their nationality.
Ain't nothing wrong.
So now, what have you learned over your 16 years, right? Over your 16 years, what have you learned about the slavery that we went through?
We was working for the white people.
We worked.
Getting beat on.
We got whipped.
Sold.
We got sold. What else?
I think I got this right. We ain't grow our own meat. We ain't grow our own meat. So what we didn't eat.
Okay. Yep. All right. I'll take all of that. So now, what about our women? So if I had a wife and I'm a slave, could another man take my wife? So like say the master, like you can answer this too if you know the answer. If I had a wife and I'm a slave and the master wants my wife, can he take her?
Yes, he can.
Do he have to ask me?
No.
He don't have to come and get permission from me to take my wife and go lay with her?
No.
He can just take her.
You can just take it.
And would this happen during slavery? This happened to one of us, or did this happen to all of our men that was in slavery? All our men and women went through this as a nation?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all at the same time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so again, this book is identifying who these people are. 15, real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Who is he talking to? Who did this just get addressed to? So he was talking to Israel, which is us, the so-called blacks, because they call us black, right? The so-called Hispanics and so-called Native Americans. That's what they called us, but that's not what God called us, right? They renamed us once they got us where? Into slavery. They put us on the ship and gave you a new name. Like right now, everybody's name is something different than what God intended it to be. But he said all of these curses would come upon thee and overtake thee, right? Why? Why did he say it would happen? Why did he say that he would put them on us? Read it again, because I want y'all to get to the point where you get to the place where you listen to the details of it. Because I can tell you anything. You don't want to take my word for it. You want to make sure it's correct, right? Read.
But it shall come to pass.
It shall come to pass, meaning in the future. That's why the word shall is in there. Meaning it's going to happen. Watch this.
If thou,
What?
if thou,
What's that word?
thou,
No, the word before that.
if,
If. He's saying that these things are going to happen if. Meaning that's a stipulation. So something is going to happen if you do something. Now, y'all have been to school before, and somebody might be like, if you step over here, I'm going to hit you in your mouth. But if you don't, you won't get hit in the mouth, right? But if you do, you get hit in the mouth. So that's a stipulation, meaning you have to do something to obtain this, right?
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Hearken means listen. If you are not listening to the voice of the Lord, your God, right?
To observe, to do all his commandments,
To do some of his commandments.
and his statutes,
To do some of his commandments.
all his commandments,
Some of them?
all,
So it said, if you don't listen and do all of his commandments,
and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
he said, if you don't listen and do everything he told you to do, every law, every statute, every commandment, every one, I'm going to put these curses on you. Now, we read through the curses. You brothers were listening to the curses, right?
Yeah.
He read the curse about us going into slavery on slave ships. You understood that, right? Did you hear that verse? You understood it, right? What other people on this planet, as a nation, when I say as a nation, not just one person or two people together. No, a nation means millions of people all at once going through the exact same thing. What other peoples on this planet went into slavery on slave ships? Name one.
Us,
Other than us.
Indians,
Okay.
Americans.
Okay, who else?
That's all I can think of.
Those are our people.
Right.
Because the Bible said this would happen to one people. So anybody that went through these things, that means they're the people that Moses was talking to.
That's
Verse
right.
46.
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee,
And they, meaning these curses shall be upon you, nation of Israel,
for a sign.
for a sign. Like, there's a sign on that building right there. What does it say? What's that building sign right there says? Boost. So when I go in there, what can I expect to find in there? I can expect to find the business that is Boost Mobile in there, right?
Right.
Or if I go in this got a sign right here. What does that say? The Grand Rapids Public Library. That's the Madison Square branch, right? If I go in there, that's what I'm going to find is what connects to the sign, right? The Most High said that these curses would be a sign. So he's saying that if you have these curses upon you as a people, meaning your people went into slavery on slave ships, your people got sold on slave auction blocks, like we got historical records right here. If your people had the women taken from them, if your people had the children taken from them, right? He said if you went through this as a people, that means you're the people he's talking to in the book, which he called who? What did he call the people that he was talking to? What name did he call the people he was talking to? So now, this is $1 million question. Did these things that we've read so far, did they happen to your people historically?
Yeah.
So historically, you can go into your history and say, you know what? My people were in slavery on slave ships. My people were sold unto their enemies. My people were beat. They was raped. They was robbed. They was murdered. You can say that happened to you and your people?
Yeah.
Can you say that happened to your people?
Yeah.
That means you identify with this sign. Remember, read it again.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
He says these curses are going to be upon you for a sign. Why? What did that sign do? It identified what this is. What did that sign do? It identified what that was. What is this sign doing? It's identifying that you're the children of Israel.
That's right.
That's what it's doing. So now when I ask you, what's your nationality, brother?
Well, they say I'm black, African American,
So you're going to go with they. I want to know what God called you.
Israel.
All praises to the Most High. My brother, what is your nationality?
I was thinking when he was reading that, and he said Israelite, I was thinking Israel.
You was thinking correctly. Because according to the house of your father, meaning we are what our fathers are. So whatever your father is what you are. Like the father, give me that in Leviticus 15:16 real quick. The man carries the seed. So inside of the man, every man, hopefully every man, has testicles. Inside of your testicles you have sperm, right? That's the seed. Let's read it.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 16. And if any man's seed,
It is what?
his seed,
Any what?
seed,
Read it.
and if any man's
Any man's
seed,
let you know what? Man carries the seed. So now, like inside of you, your children are already alive in you right now. It's just about where you're going to plant them. But your children are always going to be of you. Now let's get that in numbers. So now, just want to prove that point real quick, and then we're going to go back. Because let me ask one more question while you're looking for that. You mind if I ask you your last name, bro?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. You mind if I ask you yours?
Walker.
Walker. Where do you think you got those names from?
He got them from the white slave house.
Do you think that's in the Bible?
Yeah.
We're going to prove that it's exactly in the Bible. Give me that. 18.
Bring it up.
Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees.
They declared their pedigrees. Have you ever known anybody that was like a dog breeder? And they were trying to make sure that the pedigree of the dog, they want to know what lineage that dog comes from so they can make sure it's what? A purebred. You want to breed the right dog with the right dog. Right is worth more, right? So how do you determine your pedigree?
After their families, by the house of their fathers.
Your pedigree is determined by your father. So you are whatever your father was. So if your father was a so-called black man, I'm saying so-called, meaning that's what the world calls him. If your father was a so-called black man, that makes you a so-called black man, which is actually what? Israel, of the tribe of Judah. So that means that's your lineage, that's your history, that's your heritage, that's who you are. That's your nationality. So now, because what is nationality? Because they've changed the definition, right? Now when you ask somebody what's their nationality, they might say, I'm American. American is not a nationality. That's your citizenship. Your nationality is the lineage of people that you descend from. So what people do you come from? When somebody asks you your nationality, they want to know, what people do you come from? Not, where do you live? Because I could be, so like, here's an example. If I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, right? And if I was born on an American Airlines flight, flying over the Indian Ocean, what would be my nationality?
Israel.
It doesn't matter, right? It don't matter where I am or where I was. I'm still what my father was.
Yeah.
No matter what, right? You can't change it.
Right.
So now, what are you on? I forgot, because I was going to show you. Give me that in Isaiah 65:15 real quick, because I was going to show you about your names. Because the name that you have is the name of the people that owned your ancestors. The ones that owned them, they passed that name down to you, or to your parents, grandparents, on so forth and so on, and it came down to trickle down to you. So now you're a walker. Why? Because the walkers owned you. You're Pharaoh. Why? Because the pharaohs owned your people. That's why you have that name. It just denoted who owned you. So that way when you go out and you somewhere off the plantation, and they can say, What's your name, boy?
I'm Master Pharaohs. You make sure you get back there on time.
I'm his.
So, read that.
Isaiah chapter 65, verse 15. And ye shall leave your name for a curse.
We left our name for a curse. That's a curse upon us to leave our name. We have another name now. Come on.
Unto my chosen. For the Lord God shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name.
Now we call by now we're Pharaoh. Now we're Walker. Now we're Smith. Now we're Johnson. Why? We left our name. What other peoples on the planet has this happened to? So you trying to tell me I can't go and look and find Chinese with an African name?
No.
I can't find an African with a Chinese name.
No.
But I can find a so-called black man with a so-called white man's name.
Yep.
I can find a so-called black man with an Irish name.
Yep.
I can find that, but I can't find it the other way. So I can't find a so-called Irish man with an African name?
Nope.
I'm not. So you trying to tell me there's no white Ubuntu's around here?
None.
Well, wait a minute. That means that this doesn't apply to them.
No.
But
The treatment of God. We are not black men, we are Israelites.
That's right.
Take care of us. And the children too. We have repented. How are you? People want to know who's the king.
Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.